There's a reason you're stuck, a reason you keep falling short. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's because you have no discipline. And without discipline, you will stay weak forever. Number 1, discipline is the foundation of strength. Discipline is the silent force that builds everything worth having. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it doesn't crave attention or applause. It lives in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. It's in the way you wake up before the sun, not because you want to, but because you said you would. It's in the moments when comfort whispers your name and you turn away from it, because you know comfort kills growth. Discipline is not just about doing what's hard. It's about doing what's necessary. It's about standing firm when your mind begs for rest, when your body aches, and when every excuse sounds justified. Discipline doesn't ask for motivation, it demands obedience to purpose. Strength doesn't come from the gym, the battlefield, or the boardroom. It comes from the choices made long before those places. Every ounce of strength you build, physical, mental, emotional, comes from the discipline to do what others won't. The person who trains when it's inconvenient, who studies when they're tired, who resists distraction when everyone else gives in, that person becomes strong. Because strength isn't a gift, it's a result. Discipline is the process that creates it, one repetition, one decision, one sacrifice at a time. You don't become powerful by accident. You earn it through discipline, through the unrelenting refusal to surrender to weakness. Most people confuse strength with talent, genetics, or opportunity. They think some are born strong and others are not, but that's a lie. Everyone starts weak. Everyone starts unprepared, uncertain, and afraid. The difference between the strong and the weak is that the strong choose discipline over comfort, consistency over emotion, and purpose over distraction. They show up again and again, no matter how small the progress seems. And while others complain about how hard it is, the disciplined keep moving, keep building, keep sharpening themselves through the grind. Over time, the weak habits break, the fear fades, and what's left is strength, real strength, earned through discipline. Discipline is not a skill you learn once. It's a way of life. It's a constant war between what you want now and what you want most. It's the quiet voice that says, "Get up," when your body screams, "Stay down." It's the edge between mediocrity and mastery, between potential and power. Without discipline, strength is impossible, because strength is not built in comfort. It's built in control. Number 2, comfort is the enemy. Comfort is the most dangerous trap there is. It disguises itself as peace, as satisfaction, as happiness. But underneath, it's decay. Comfort tells you you're fine where you are, that you've done enough, that you deserve to rest. And once you start listening, it wraps around you slowly, quietly, until you stop moving altogether. Comfort is the silent killer of progress. It doesn't strike all at once. It eats away at your edge, dulls your instincts, and convinces you that average is acceptable. The moment you start chasing comfort, you stop chasing growth. You stop demanding more from yourself. You stop evolving. The body softens, the mind weakens, and your purpose begins to fade. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you teach yourself to settle. You teach your mind to avoid struggle, to avoid pressure, to avoid anything that threatens your ease. But growth only exists beyond the line of comfort. You don't grow when everything feels good. You grow when it hurts, when it's uncertain, when it's hard. Comfort makes you fragile. It makes you fear discomfort, fear failure, fear pain. And once that fear takes root, it controls you. You start living in avoidance instead of pursuit. You stop taking risks. You stop fighting for better. You stay still, hoping life will somehow reward your inaction. But it never does. Comfort gives you nothing lasting. No strength, no resilience, no pride. The world doesn't care how comfortable you are. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The world rewards those who can move forward in discomfort, who can act with clarity when everything inside them wants to stop. Strength, discipline, and success, they are all born in resistance. The people who rise, the people who win, are the ones who face pain head-on and refuse to retreat. They train when it's cold, they work when they're tired, they endure when everyone else is looking for an exit. They understand that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every moment spent seeking comfort is a moment spent drifting away from purpose. The more you feed your comfort, the weaker you become. The more you reject it, the sharper you grow. Comfort doesn't build warriors, it builds victims. It doesn't shape leaders, it shapes followers. It promises ease, but delivers emptiness. Number 3, you don't rise to the level of your goals. Goals are easy to make. Anyone can write them down, talk about them, dream about them. But a goal without discipline is just a wish, a fantasy built on words that carry no weight. People believe that their ambitions will somehow lift them higher, that wanting success is enough to create it. But when the pressure hits, when fatigue sets in, when the motivation disappears, you don't rise to meet your goals. You fall to the level of your discipline. Because discipline is what remains when desire fades. It's the structure that holds you together when everything else collapses. It's the line between those who dream of change and those who make it happen. Your goals can be massive. You can say you want to be stronger, smarter, richer, better, but when the alarm rings at 4:30 a.m., when the plan demands repetition, sacrifice, and pain, your goals won't get you out of bed. Discipline will. Discipline doesn't care how big your dreams are. It cares how consistent your actions are. It's the foundation that supports the weight of your ambition. Without it, your goals crumble under their own size. That's why so many people fail. They set grand visions, but they never build the habits, the structure, the daily grind to support those visions. They think passion will carry them, but passion burns fast and fades quick. Discipline is the fuel that never runs out because it's not based on emotion. It's based on commitment. When things get hard, and they always do, you won't fall back on your goals. You'll fall back on your standards, on your habits, on what you've trained yourself to do when things get ugly. If your discipline is weak, you'll fold. If it's strong, you'll endure. That's the truth most people avoid. They keep chasing new goals, new strategies, new motivation, hoping something external will push them forward. But it never does, because progress is not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do repeatedly, without applause, without recognition, without shortcuts. Discipline decides your limits. It decides whether you execute or hesitate, whether you rise under pressure or collapse under comfort. Your goals might set the direction, but your discipline determines the distance. Number 4, excuses build prison walls. Excuses are the chains that keep you locked inside your own weakness. They feel harmless at first, small, reasonable, even justified. You tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, not ready yet, and it sounds believable. You convince yourself that waiting makes sense, that circumstances will eventually align, that tomorrow will be better. But every excuse you make lays another brick in the wall that traps you. One excuse becomes 2, 2 become 10, and soon you've built a prison around your potential. You can see what you want, but you can't reach it. Not because someone stopped you, but because you stopped yourself. Excuses are comforting lies that protect your ego from the truth. They tell you that failure isn't your fault, that you didn't really have a chance, that life just didn't give you what you needed. But those lies keep you soft. They keep you from facing the brutal reality that you are capable, you just didn't act. The truth is simple. Every excuse steals a piece of your strength. It robs you of the lesson you were supposed to learn from struggle. It dulls your hunger, your discipline, your edge. People waste years trapped in the same cycle, blaming time, blaming luck, blaming other people, while never realizing that they're the ones holding the key. The key is responsibility. The moment you stop making excuses and own your failures, you break through the walls you built. But that's hard, because it means admitting that you could have done more. It means facing the guilt of wasted time, wasted effort, wasted potential. Most people can't handle that, so they keep hiding behind excuses, building higher walls, convincing themselves they're still free while they're trapped inside their own comfort. Excuses are seductive because they feel like relief. They take the pressure off for a moment. They make quitting sound rational, even smart. But what they really do is poison your mindset. They turn can't into a habit, later into a lifestyle, and good enough into your identity. You start believing your own stories until you don't even try anymore. The mind becomes your own warden, guarding the very limits you created. Every time you choose an excuse over action, you reinforce the bars. Every time you justify weakness, you strengthen the lock. And before you know it, the life you could have lived is gone, sealed behind the walls you built yourself. Number 5, pain builds fortitude. Pain is the crucible in which strength is forged. It's raw, uncomfortable, and relentless, but it is also the most honest teacher you will ever have. Life doesn't hand out strength on a silver platter, and it doesn't reward those who avoid discomfort. Every challenge, every struggle, every moment that tests you is an opportunity to grow stronger, if you choose to face it. Pain strips away excuses, illusions, and weakness. It exposes what you are made of, and those who embrace it, who stare it down and push through it, develop a fortitude that no comfort could ever give. Fortitude is not built in ease. It is built in the struggle, in the moments when your mind screams to quit and your body demands surrender. Those moments are the shaping moments, and they are the ones that separate the strong from the weak. The world will always challenge you in ways that hurt physically, mentally, or emotionally. You can try to avoid it, but avoidance only delays growth. Every time you endure pain, you strengthen more than your muscles or skills. You strengthen your mind. You learn resilience, you learn patience, you learn how to move forward even when the path is rough and the odds are against you. Pain teaches you discipline because you realize that nothing worth achieving comes without it. It teaches humility because it shows you your limits, and it teaches perseverance because it forces you to keep moving despite them. Those who refuse to face pain remain fragile. Those who embrace it become unbreakable. Pain also builds clarity. It separates the trivial from the vital, the excuses from the realities. When you go through struggle, you understand what matters and what doesn't. You recognize the patterns that weaken you and the habits that make you stronger. Every bruise, every failure, every moment of suffering leaves a lesson behind, a blueprint for improvement. And when you carry those lessons forward, you are no longer the same person who entered the battle. You are sharper, tougher, more aware, and more capable. Pain builds fortitude because it forces you to evolve. It forces you to shed weakness and adopt strength as a way of life. Fortitude is not given. It is earned in the fire of hardship, in the discomfort that most people flee from, in the repeated acts of courage that test your limits and make them expand. The key is consistency. Enduring pain once is not enough. The mind and body grow resilient only through repeated exposure, through repeated decisions to endure, to persevere, to push past the breaking point. Fortitude is cumulative. Every struggle you endure compounds, layering strength upon strength until you become someone who no challenge can easily defeat, someone who stands firm when others crumble, someone who understands that pain is not the enemy. It is the tool, the forge, the path to unshakable strength. Number 6. Discipline chalks freedom. Discipline is not restriction, it is liberation. Most people think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. They think freedom is a lack of rules, a life without constraints. But that kind of freedom is an illusion. It is chaos disguised as choice. Real freedom comes from mastery. Mastery over your mind, your body, your decisions, your impulses. And mastery comes from discipline. Discipline is the tool that allows you to act deliberately instead of reacting, to create your life instead of being controlled by it. Without discipline, you are a slave to your desires, your fears, your environment, and the opinions of others. You may think you are free, but in reality, every weakness, every indulgence, every skipped responsibility is a chain that binds you tighter than any external force ever could. When you embrace discipline, you gain control. You decide what you will do and when you will do it. You don't wait for motivation or inspiration because you have created habits that carry you forward. You wake up early because you committed to it, not because you feel like it. You train when your body screams to stop because your commitment outweighs your discomfort. You work when distractions tempt you because your vision is bigger than your excuses. Every act of discipline builds leverage over your circumstances. It gives you the ability to navigate challenges without panic, to endure setbacks without surrender, and to achieve goals that would have seemed impossible before. Discipline is the engine of freedom because it allows you to make choices from a position of strength rather than weakness. Freedom without discipline is fleeting. You may have temporary relief or short-term pleasure, but without structure and control, your life drifts. You chase impulses, react to situations, and remain trapped in the same patterns of mediocrity. But when you live with discipline, every choice becomes intentional. You are no longer controlled by cravings, by fear, by laziness. You are guided by purpose and clarity. Your time becomes yours, your body becomes yours, your mind becomes yours, and the life you build is yours to command. Discipline teaches patience, focus, and responsibility. It teaches that the cost of instant gratification is long-term limitation and that true freedom is earned, not given. Discipline is the paradox. The more you impose structure on yourself, the freer you become. It allows you to act, to move, to create without being enslaved to weakness. It turns the chaos of life into a series of deliberate steps toward mastery. It gives you independence from fleeting emotions, from toxic habits, from distractions that would otherwise control your day, your mind, your destiny. In essence, discipline is the ultimate path to freedom because it aligns your actions with your purpose, your intentions with your outcomes, and your will with your potential. Strength, freedom, and success are not given. They are earned. Every choice, every sacrifice, every act of discipline shapes who you become. Reject excuses, embrace the grind, and take control of your life. Without discipline, weakness is all you will know.